17. Niners heading into the bye at 5-3 and not in first place in the NFC West. No. That'd be Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, who are now in sole possession of first place. And Brock Purdy, 3 more turnovers, 2 picks, and maybe Joe Shasky on the eve of Halloween. It was proper that Brock Purdy dressed as Jimmy Garoppolo this season for Halloween. That's what he looked like yesterday. He's looked like that the last 3 weeks.
Well, he looks like
he's doing Jimmy Garoppolo impressions, and I don't like it.
Well, he's much more mobile than Jimmy.
I don't care. He's a faster Jimmy G. He's throwing the oh-no throw still. He's throwing the plays to lose you the game, and that's what happened yesterday. They had a chance to tie the game late in the game. Couldn't do it.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Should have been a pick 6, too.
It's a pie chart of culpability this morning. You've got
love that term.
Premier players making premier money playing horrific, right? Whether it's Charvarius Ward, Nick Bosa, et cetera. You've got a defensive coordinator that does not seem to be on the same page as these players. I put it more on the players, but I'll listen to the Steve Wilkes critiques right now. Then you've got an offense right now that can't run the ball, can't throw the ball when they're down, can really only throw the ball on early downs, down the field, against zone, not man-to-man. And you've got an offensive line that can't block and a quarterback who doesn't see the linebackers. He just doesn't see the linebackers, and he's fumbling the ball left and right. You've got a running game that is stale and predictable where you're begging CMC to break 5 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and then maybe get a couple of yards. Right? Their best run game right now is a scramble play by Purdy. That's it. He had a 16-yard run and another. That was about it.
Brock Purdy can't be your leading rusher when you have Christian McCaffrey on your team.
No.
That's a recipe for disaster.
And a guy, Jordan Mason, who didn't even see the field yesterday, getting over 5 yards a rip.
Can't happen.
Jawan Jennings can't get open right now. I mean, he looks like a guy who is very coverable. And then you look at Brandon Ayuk, who I believe is a really good player. But like him as the number one, let's call it what it is. Hasn't been that great. And secondarily, dropped a huge ball off the face mask, whether it was in the sun or not. Huge ball off the face mask yesterday. George Kittle, big-time plays, but when they're in the red zone, disappears.
Shout out to YouTube and Twitch streamers, Comcast Business Text Line. YouTube and Twitch brought to you by First NorCal Credit Union. We are streaming all day, all long, right here, 95.7 The Game. We want to hear from you guys all day here because it's panic mode. It is. It's panic mode, panic season, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Why are we afraid to criticize Purdy?
I don't think people are afraid to criticize him, but it is interesting how we have not got a lot of calls in regards to his poor play down the stretch. And for the most part, he was playing well, but I can't say he had a good game when you have turnovers. Like when you have back-breaking turnovers like they've had, when your defense makes plays to get you back into the game, when they strip fumble Irv Smith Jr., the tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals.
There.
They got lucky, but they made a play.
Yes.
That's what you needed to see from your defense. They made plays when they needed to make them. The 49ers are not picking up their defense like the defense has picked up the 49ers offense in the past, if that makes sense. I'm not seeing that from the 49ers offense because time in and time out, in the past, I've seen the defense be the difference. I go back to that Green Bay game a few years back in the playoffs. It was that defense, and it was eventually a special teams play that got them over the top. How many times has the defense bailed out the offense?
Oh, the defense has bailed the offense out for 5 years.
Way more.
Yes.
I need the offense to start doing that a little bit more the last few weeks because I'm not seeing it. Hell, even the last 2 weeks, they held 22 points? That's nothing.
Well, especially when that's your side of the ball, Kyle.
Yes.
Like you're the architect of that offense. And then I look at we talk so much. I mean, how many calls did we take about Purdy is Brady, Purdy is Montana? You know what Brady's most known for? Fourth quarter comeback, 28-3. Fourth quarter comeback against the Seattle Seahawks. Fourth quarter comeback in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. Brady, fourth quarter against the Rams to start off his entire epic career.
Yeah.
Joe Montana, fourth quarter. Brock Purdy in the fourth quarter, last 3 weeks, has been a turnover machine. Yep. All right? So we could talk about the first 3 quarters, and you can say, Joe, nothing to see here. Well, I would say you're wrong because the elite of the elite, they win in the fourth quarter. That's when the money is made.
Monster Monday is brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. Maybe the 5th thing you can do is not be the fan of the 49ers right now because there's a lot of toxic stress from the fan base and from the callers, which we will get to in a second. And speaking of callers, last hour we did our little contest, and don't worry, you'll have chances again throughout the week right here on the Morning Roast, but as well as Steiny Goo, Willard, and Dibbs. Next 2 weeks, we are giving the listeners opportunities to go play Knockout at Chase Center. We had that opportunity last hour, and shout out Kevin Rivas. Am I pronouncing that? Kevin Rivas on winning the first caller to win, I should say, that qualified for the Knockout tournament at Chase Center. So congratulations, Kevin. I want to hear from the calls today, Shasky. What about you?
And I want to hear from them too. This thing about like Purdy's only a rookie. He's not a rookie.
Not anymore.
He's in his second year.
No, he wouldn't have qualified for the Rookie of the Year in the NBA.
Second year of starting.
If we were doing those rules, I'm saying.
Second full year of starting, Jalen Hurts led his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now we can say he had a couple of years in the NFL, like whatever. Like part of why you played Purdy is because he was a 4-year player in college. Like, no, the second year starting, Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yes, I'm not using that as an excuse at all. People are using that as an excuse still. 888-957-95.
He's not a rookie.
No, I think it is time to worry about Purdy.
He's played in playoff games.
Jacob in Castroville, you're on 95.7 The Game. What's up, man? It's Spadoni and Shasky.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yep.
So I called in to talk about the defense a little bit, but you started talking about Purdy, and I do think that it's on him. He doesn't have very many weapons right now, though. I mean, 7-Eleven is always open. Brandon Ayuk, he's a weapon, but you can't go to him every play. So, there's got to be options, but at the same time,
real quick, Jake.
He's got 3 Pro Bowl players.
He's got 2 All-Pro guys, one of the best, if not the best running back in the game, and one of the top 5 tight ends, everyone thinks.
Yeah, and a wide receiver who's Pro Bowl fringe.
Yeah. Right, and I do agree with Shasky that McCaffrey should be used as a slot receiver more, but he's not being used, and that option's not there, unfortunately. So some of it's on the play calling. I think a lot of it's on Purdy. The players do play a big role. My question for the defense, obviously those players play a big role too, but where is Steve Wilks? He's up in the high tower. Do you think that it would be a motivating force for these players to have Steve Wilks on the sidelines in their face, being able to congratulate them on good plays?
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Vic Fangio. We watched Vic Fangio up in the booth throughout the entirety of the Harbaugh years. Does Bosa making $51 million need a guy to get in his face? Does Hargrave making $25 million this year need a guy to get in his face? How about Armstead? Has he been around this team, I don't know, for 8-9 years, making $17 million? He needs somebody to get in his face. Charvarius Ward, who played big-time playoff games with the Niners and the Chiefs, making $14 million. He needs a coordinator to get in his face? Like, is that really, we really think that?
I don't know, but I think something should be tried before everyone's just like, fire him. See what these players need. Switch it up. See if it works, because DeMeco Ryans is on the sideline every game, patting his players on the back or getting in their face if they were doing something wrong, made a stupid play. It could have an impact. A coach should be a motivating force. If you're not there to be able to motivate, and if you are there and you can't motivate your players, then what are we doing?
Well, to your point, Jacob, though, I don't think, but that's also not Steve Wilks' demeanor.
Yeah,
like, you guys are expecting him to be this rah-rah guy. Did you look at him when he was a head coach? Whether it was with the Cardinals or interim last year with the Panthers, that's not his demeanor. He's calm, cool, collected. He's not going to chew you out. That's not him. So you're asking him to be someone he's not. And also, this isn't peewee football. I'm not asking my coach to get in my grill right now. Like that's
Charvarius, get over here. Stop holding people. Stop holding wide receivers. All right? Stop it.
What is it?
Okay, coach.
Capri Suns and orange slices with Bonte like that. That's not what we're doing here. These guys are getting paid multi-millions of dollars, and they need to be making plays. They do. Manny on the Dumbarton. What's going on, man? Manny.
I wish we had brighter things to talk about. Thank God the Warriors won yesterday, right?
Thank God for Chris Paul. A sentence I never thought I'd utter.
The quest for Chris?
But guys, I have to take a step back. I would love more than anything right now to rate Purdy over the Coles. I really would. And I'm fighting the temptation not to. So I took a step back. This morning I said, okay, we've all talked about how he's never played a full season up until this point. So if I take the last half of this season that he's playing, last year's stats, and I rack it up against Cap and I rack it up against Jimmy, he's had a pretty damn good start to his, if we add it all together, his first full year as a starter. Now, that being said, what about those oh-no Jimmy throws or all those oh-no Cap throws that he seems to be making in crucial times? I mean, he needs to clean that up. We're not going to lie about it. We're not going to mix words about it. He needs to be able to put his big boy pants on, hunker down, and see the field better. That being said, you touched on it earlier, guys. Can someone get any other option besides Kittle and Ayuk for this man? Because Jennings and Ronnie Bell, you guys were standing right next to me on the sideline doing absolutely nothing. Okay? Let's get that straight. Now, in regards to the defense, guys, there was one play. I don't know if you guys saw it, Chasky. Nick Bosa overran the running back.
Oh, yeah.
The running back went one way, Bosa went the other. It's like, for reals? For reals. So what I'm saying is, this is a collective effort. I've been saying it the last 3 weeks. You guys are all screwing up to a man on offense, defense, and thank God this game around, it wasn't on special teams. At least I don't think so. That being said, it all falls on the laurels that we have been giving Kyle and John. Yes, you guys have done a great job putting together a roster that is playoff, if not Super Bowl bound. But you've also did no favors by making the mistakes you've made. I was looking back, and I'm thinking, wow, that guy that caught 10 passes for 100 yards, we could have picked him up instead of Trey Lance. Wow, that guy that was playing on Sunday Night Football, the corner, we could have picked him up instead of Trey Lance. So the failures of this organization the last 3 weeks, I'm not going to put it all on number 13's back, because that's a lot to say for a young man going into his now first full season into the NFL.
Well, I'll tell you this, Manny. Right now, the Trey Lance trade, him not being a good quarterback and how much you gave up for him and then moving off of him and not having that card in your back pocket, they're paying the piper at this point in terms of they don't have players to offset from that trade. That player himself isn't even available to you as a team, and the guy that you picked over him hasn't played well. So, yeah, the ramification of that trade is still playing out. Here's one thing I want to say. First quarter, Bengals, play action. I mean, just wide open, getting anything they want. Burrow escaping trouble. He made a Tyler Boyd fade in the red zone. There was a fade pass that was a perfectly thrown pass. When was the last time the Niners threw a fade route?
Oh, my
properly?
God. Oh, my God. Jimmy Garoppolo?
No.
No?
I can't think of one Jimmy G fade in the red zone.
I can think of a fade route very famous in 49ers history that did not work.
Exactly.
Kaepernick and Crabtree.
A fade route in the red zone. One of the lower percentage plays. And Burrow drops it in for an absolute dime.
You know what's funny? It's lower percentage if you don't have an elite quarterback. All the elite guys, that's in their repertoire, and they try it every single time because you know what? They trust, the Mahomes, they trust the Kelseys. The Burrows, they trust Chase because you know what? That's the symmetry between those guys. And right now, I don't know.
And the arm talent.
And the arm talent's there.
And the arm talent.
Ayuk is very good. I don't think he has that relationship or repertoire just yet with Brock Purdy.
No, let's just call it what it is. If Joe Burrow and Ayuk were together, they'd make sweet music.
Maybe.
Like, what are we doing?
Maybe.
What are we doing? And then the second touchdown. Okay, the Niners answer back. CMC, big answer, by the way, after going 3 and out on the first one. On the rollout touchdown to some guy no one's ever heard of, number 80, okay? Burrow throws an absolute dime, holds on to the ball. There wasn't one, there were 2 penalties on the second touchdown. 99 offsides, Charvarius Ward hold. 2, both negated because of a touchdown, all right? I just go right down. Oh, how about the miss for the field goal? Cincinnati should have had more points on the board. They missed the field goal. Not sure if you were aware of this. Oh, and then it's 10-14, and Burrow is carving him up again. Irv Smith, one of the worst fumbles ever. When Romo is telling you they should run the ball with less than 2 minutes to go in that half. I mean, the Niners basically have forced 1 punt in the last couple of weeks. Their defense has been shredded by 2 quarterbacks better than yours. Shredded.
I'm trying to find just and maybe trying to pinpoint one reason why this all just fell apart the last few
They've
weeks.
given up more points before halftime in 2 minutes than any other team in football. What do you make of that?
What I make of that is it's just the attention to detail that has been known for a Kyle Shanahan team is not there.
No.
There's no attention to detail. They're constantly whiffing. They're over pursuing, as the caller just mentioned. It's not there. And when the pass rush isn't getting home, Shasky, the defense and this particular secondary gets exposed because there's not a true number one. Charvarius Ward is not a number one.
No.
He's not.
No.
On this team, he is, and that's a problem.
But that's like being an ace in baseball. Just because you're the number one in the rotation doesn't make you an ace.
Correct. And right now, if you're not getting home, I don't care if it doesn't matter. If you're not getting home against anyone, hell, Tyler or Tyson Bagent or whatever from Chicago, who looked horrible yesterday.
Yes.
If you're not getting him on the ground, he'll try to dice you up because you have got to get to the quarterback in this league. Every single quarterback that you're playing against is better than 99.99% of everyone else in the world.
Yes.
Will Levis will carve you up. These guys will carve you up. And Joe Burrow, he's at the top 1/10 of the 1%. Shout out Bernie Sanders. That's what he is. And he's killed you.
No doubt. And look, I've been crushing Purdy and the defense. Kyle Shanahan has a lot to do with this. They burned 2 timeouts on defense. One, because they weren't ready, okay? One, because they weren't ready. And then on the final drive after the Irv Smith fumble, they've only got the one timeout. And so you run the ball with CMC with no timeouts?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was dumb.
Because
that wasn't weird. That was dumb.
Well, they had a great play to George Kittle. That was a dime by
Give me
Brock
a field
Purdy.
goal attempt.
Like, just go out of bounds. No. That's where you're talking about the fade route. Can you give me a back shoulder out of the
no, they can't.
right there?
They can't. And then, okay, 8:22 to go. It's 3rd and 7. Purdy throws high to Kittle. You're at like the 40-something yard line. You're in no man's land. Dog, your offense needs a jolt. Okay, if you're going to go for it, I have no problem with it. I really don't right now because I think you need to score points. They punt the ball, and they punt it to the 18. You might as well have gone for it.
That was useless.
You gave up like 16, 18, 20 yards of yardage. Just go for it. Like, that's on Shanahan. Go for it. You're telling me he's the real deal? Do you think Cincinnati in a similar situation isn't going for it with Burrow?
I thought it was like 4th and 1 at their own like 30 or something. I was like, you know what? You think Zach Taylor will go for it? Because that's how much faith this guy has in his quarterback. Like, this is like the Brandon Staley thing. We laugh. He does that because he trusts his quarterback.
Yes.
And Justin Herbert. That's why he does it.
So you get the punt, okay? And then you end up going 3 and out. You force a 3 and out. The defense finally does their job. They force a 3 and out. You march down. It is a 17-10 game, okay? 17-10 game. You're down at the goal line, and you've been carving. You're starting to cook. And Purdy gets the big turnover. I'm sorry. Shanahan, Purdy, the offense, that's what's letting – the defense is not good. The defense is not good. I'm not here to cape up. The defense is not good. But when can the offense bail the defense out? Yesterday was a day you needed to score points.
Yep.
You knew going into that game, 17's not going to cut it.
I want solutions, people. That's what I want at 888-957-9570. The defense isn't working. The offense isn't working. Well, it's time to fix it. How do we do that?
And then
how? I don't know. I don't know what. There's just not one because I just don't understand coming off that blowout against the Dallas Cowboys. And I go back to this term front running because they were high and mighty and feeling great as they should. They were 5-0.
Yes.
They had PJ Walker, an XFL quarterback in Cleveland, 10 a.m. start. I get it. Kind of short week. Not really. It's Sunday night, so not really. No Nick Chubb, no Deshaun Watson. Coming off that, you were the best team in the league. Everyone was talking about you. Everyone was gassing you up.
I crowned this team foolishly. I said they were a Super Bowl contender. The quarterback is elite. All these things, and I feel like an idiot.
I was talking about how style points mattered at that point. I was filling in for you at the new building we just moved. I was like, it's not enough just beating the Browns. You have to destroy them. If this is a close game, I think it's a failure. They lost the game, and then they lost another. And now it's starting to tumble. The ball's going down the hill, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So the bye week could not have come at a better time because if they were facing the Jags this next week, I'm picking the Niners.
No.
So they needed this bye. How do they fix it? That's the question.
But, Joe, before you go back out to the lines, because I want to hear from everybody, 888-957-9570. They got the stops in the second half early in that game. I'm telling you. So after the Purdy interception on the rollout, which was horrific on 3 levels, which we've broken down 5 times today, they got another stop.
They did.
The defense got another stop, which I know. Wilkes sucks. Everyone wants to throw him out. All these defensive players they got stops. And then Purdy throws another interception. And then what does Burrow do? First play,
Bomb.
double move,
Night-night.
Jamar Chase, game over.
Yep.
Like Steph Curry, he hit the night-night on the Niners.
He did.
Am I wrong?
No, that's what he did. But that's what killers do. That's what the elite of the elite. The amount of times I've watched
Joe Burrow's
Patrick
on a whole nother
Mahomes
level.
and Joe Burrow snatch souls from my favorite team, it happens every year. That's why John's happy. Big John is Broncos. He's a Broncos fan. 8 years? It was 8 years since they've beaten him. Unbelievable. Broncos got off the schneid. The 49ers need to get off the schneid against Jacksonville.
Mahomes has earned the 2 Super Bowl benefit of the doubt to be sick and have a 3
We're
interception
trying to
game.
create something that's not there this morning. Everyone's trying to say, is there something wrong with the Chiefs? No, they lost to a team they've beaten for 8 straight years.
Well, and the thing about divisional games is that not only do you know your opponent better, but every film you watch is against them. Like, if I'm the Niner, I watch Rams tape. Well, they might be playing the Cardinals, so now I'm watching both of those teams simultaneously. So you learn so much about them. Broncos know the Chiefs, and Mahomes has earned the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry, Purdy hasn't.
No.
And this is not 1 week.
I like
this is 3 weeks.
I like that question. Has Brock Purdy earned the benefit of the doubt with